From our Chicago studios, this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum, I am Samana Siddiqui. Our top story tonight. Israel damaged nearly 1,000 mosques in Gaza last year. The Palestinian Ministry of Awqaf and Religious Affairs reports that 815 Muslim worship places were entirely destroyed and 151 others partially damaged. The ministry also notes that 19 cemeteries and 3 churches were also destroyed in Israel's genocidal war on Gaza last year. As well, the ministry has documented Israeli attacks on 20 mosques in the occupied West Bank. Israel's relentless bombardment of Gaza continues, with at least 31 Palestinians killed and 57 injured in the last 24 hours, according to Gaza's health ministry. Early Tuesday, Israeli airstrikes targeted homes in Gaza City and the Nusayrat refugee camp, killing 6 Palestinians. 4 were killed in a strike on the Sehwel family home near the beach refugee camp. 2 others were killed in Nusayrat when the Al-Abid family's home was destroyed. In the Al-Maghazi refugee camp, an Israeli airstrike on a tent for displaced people left 1 injured. More casualties were reported in Bureish and Rafah refugee camps, adding to the growing toll. Meanwhile, violence continues in the occupied West Bank, where Israeli forces killed and wounded several Palestinians. Israeli troops have also launched a manhunt after gunmen killed 3 Israelis near an illegal settlement in Qalqilia Governorate. Israel has repeatedly targeted North Gaza's Kamal Adwan hospital, worsening the humanitarian crisis. United Nations Under-Secretary General for Humanitarian Affairs and Emergency Relief, Tom Fletcher, warns that efforts to save lives in Gaza are at breaking point. This is due to Israel's continued attacks on aid workers, including a World Food Program convoy. Israel's genocide in Gaza has killed at least 45,885 Palestinians and wounded 109,196 since October 7, 2023. Last year, the International Criminal Court issued arrest warrants for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and former Defense Minister Yoav Gallant for war crimes and crimes against humanity in Gaza. Israel also faces a genocide case at the International Court of Justice for its deadly war on Gaza. Congress has formally certified President-elect Donald Trump's win of the November 5th presidential election. This marks the final step before his January 20th inauguration. Vice President Kamala Harris, who lost to Trump in November, presided over the session in her constitutional role as President of the Senate. Harris said the peaceful transfer of power is one of the most fundamental principles of American democracy. The certification has been compared to January 6, 2021. That was when a violent mob of Trump supporters overran the U.S. Capitol, vandalizing the building and attacking police officers. A June 2022 bipartisan Senate report found that at least 7 people died in connection with the January 6, 2021 attack. Monday's session unfolded swiftly and without protest. State results were read aloud with Vice President-elect J.D. Vance's attendance. Trump secured 312 Electoral College votes to Harris's 226. In related news, U.S. Capitol Police Chief Thomas Manger has expressed concern about pardoning the insurrectionists behind the January 6, 2021 attack. While he refrained from commenting on President-elect Donald Trump's promise to pardon the defendants, he stressed the need for accountability for assaults on police. Manger is questioning the pardon's impact on law enforcement. He says this would send the wrong message to officers across the nation who face daily risks. Speaking ahead of the 4th anniversary of the attack on the U.S. Capitol by Trump supporters, Manger emphasized the importance of supporting injured or assaulted officers. More than 100 officers were hurt in the riots, and some died following the attack. Former Capitol Police Sergeant Aquilino Gonell, who was injured on January 6, 2021, condemned potential pardons as devastating. Manger reassured the public that police are now better prepared for political violence. He also called for bipartisan support for law enforcement to maintain public trust and safety. Former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani has been found in civil contempt twice. This is for defying court orders in a $148 million defamation case. Judge Louis Lyman stopped short of jailing Giuliani. However, he barred a key defense that could protect the former mayor of New York City's Palm Beach condo. The ruling means Giuliani cannot present evidence at an upcoming trial to claim the condo as his primary residence. This puts him at risk of losing his last home. The trial could force Giuliani to forfeit the property, marking a significant setback in his legal battles. Plaintiffs Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss, who are mother and daughter, have struggled to seize Giuliani's assets. They faced harassment after Giuliani falsely accused them of election fraud. Freeman and Moss accuse him of withholding information about his lifestyle and property. U.S. eases Syria aid sanctions for 6 months. Details after the break, so stay tuned, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. The U.S. has temporarily eased sanctions on Syria for 6 months, allowing critical humanitarian aid delivery. This includes electricity, water, and sanitation services. Aid groups can now conduct transactions for energy supply, including petroleum and gas, and process personal remittances. The relief excludes dealings with Syrian military or intelligence entities, the regime of deposed President Bashar al-Assad, or sanctioned groups such as Hayat Tahrir al-Sham or HTS. The move follows the collapse of the Assad regime after HTS forces swiftly took the capital Damascus in December, ending 60 years of Ba'ath Party rule. U.S. Deputy Treasury Secretary Wali Adeyemo highlighted the opportunity for Syria's recovery, emphasizing the United States' support for humanitarian aid and governance reforms. Broader sanctions will remain until the interim government led by HTS ensures women's and minorities' rights. Meanwhile, the U.S. has ended its bounty on HTS leader Ahmed al-Sharaa. Sanctions for war crimes under the Caesar Act have been extended until 2029. These affect former Syrian government officials, including Bashar al-Assad. President-elect Donald Trump has sparked debate, suggesting Canada join the U.S. as its 51st state. This came hours after Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced his resignation yesterday following internal party discontent and poor approval ratings. Trump claimed on his Truth Social platform that many Canadians favor the idea and criticized Canada's reliance on subsidies. He argued a merger would eliminate tariffs, lower taxes for Canadians, and enhance security against perceived threats from Russia and China. Trump also reiterated his threats of imposing a 25% tariff on Canadian imports unless measures are taken to curb drug and immigrant flows into the U.S. The proposal has reignited discussions about cross-border relations and trade challenges. The U.S. government is in the process of finalizing necessary steps to delist Indian nuclear entities. President Joe Biden's National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan recently held talks with his Indian counterpart Ajit Doval in New Delhi on the issue. Following India's nuclear test in 1998, the U.S. had imposed sanctions on Indian entities. Sullivan briefed the Indian side on the updates brought out by the Biden administration to U.S. missile export control policies under the Missile Technology Control Regime. He also said delisting Indian nuclear entities will promote civil nuclear cooperation and resilient clean energy supply chains. Billionaire Elon Musk has confirmed his Starlink company has applied to launch internet services in Pakistan. This is in response to a post by a Pakistani netizen. Musk says his application is awaiting approval. Pakistan tops the list of countries that suffered the most due to internet outages in 2024. According to top10vpn.com, an independent VPN reviewer, the global internet disruption lasted over 88,000 hours last year, which caused a financial loss of more than $7 billion. It said Pakistan was the single most affected nation, with $1.62 billion in losses, followed by Burma and Sudan. The Islamic religious community in Austria, or IGGO, has called for clarification from Lower Austria Governor Joanna Mikl-Leitner over her anti-Islam remarks. In an interview on television, Mikl-Leitner linked tackling Islam to one of Austria's challenges. IGGO President Umit Vural criticized the statement, urging an apology or clarification. He is calling the remarks divisive and harmful to Muslims. Vural stressed such rhetoric fuels hate and violence, demanding leaders act responsibly. He has highlighted rising anti-Muslim hostility, including threats against IGGO, urging politicians to avoid using religion for political gain. More than 260 Rohingya refugees, including women and children, have arrived in Indonesia's easternmost province of Aceh. They arrived in East Aceh in 2 boats stranded in the sea, according to the Aceh online newspaper. Local police chief Surya Dharma said information about the boats was obtained from fishermen who saw 2 ships carrying refugees. Dharma said these people would move to the Rohingya refugee camp in the Puraluk Timor district in East Aceh. Last November, Indonesian fishermen rescued 116 Rohingya refugees, mostly women and children, after their boat sank off the coast of Aceh. Hundreds of Rohingya Muslims have fled their home country of Burma due to persecution by the junta regime, as well as other ethnic armed groups. Climate change has significantly disrupted the Earth's water cycle, leading to a surge in severe water-related disasters. According to a report released by the Australian National University, the world has set new temperature records and extreme precipitation events intensified in 2024. More than half of the world's population across 111 countries endured their hottest year on record, with 34 nations setting new maximum temperature records. Among the report's notable findings is that climate change is intensifying water-related disasters. Further rising temperatures from fossil fuel emissions are boosting the intensity and rainfall of monsoons, cyclones, and other storm systems. That's all from our Chicago studios tonight. Thank you for watching Muslim News. We are a community channel dedicated to bringing you stories you can trust. Please like, share, and subscribe to our content. You can also comment to let us know what you think of our coverage. Donate now by visiting muslimnetwork.tv/donate. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV. Salam.